My name is Dwight Gillespie, and this is my first podcast into this. I don't know if you're familiar. I used to do one called Two Guys from Queens, which was also a good podcast I did with my good friend Tommy Gucciardo. I started this podcast. It's a bit of a different direction. I have my book. I wrote this book called Price Tags. It'll be out April 28th. It'll be available through Amazon or through Barnes & Noble, any outlet like that. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. My name, as I said, my name is Dwight, and I was born in Paterson, New Jersey. I grew up in a town called Haledon, right next to it. I'm one of 7 kids. I developed an affection, I guess you would call it, for drugs and alcohol at a very early age. I'm from a family that did the same. When I was 18, my father committed suicide. And it went from there. I joined the military. When I came out of that, and the military was the first place that actually tried to get me clean a little bit. They sent me to a rehab. I also did my first psych ward in the military, which was very interesting to be on a psych ward with military people. I was in the Air Force. That was Travis Air Force Base back in 1984. And then, and from there, when I got out, I had moved to Connecticut after having a really difficult time moving back to New Jersey. I went up to Connecticut and I lived there. I got married. It was a disaster. I was in a fellowship at the time. I was in AA, and it didn't go well. Let's just say. But I managed to not drink or use any drugs after that. I had broken up, and I moved to New York by way of a psych ward again, and eventually, I met my second wife, and we had a beautiful child. And this is kind of what the book is about primarily. It was we had my son, and I was clean when I had him. He was born in 1998. His name was Luke Robert Gillespie. He was the light of my life, and unfortunately, he passed away 3 weeks before his 7th birthday. We were expecting our second child, a daughter, Gabrielle. And we got into a car accident on the way to a sonogram, actually. And Luke passed away that night, and we lost the baby 6 weeks later on December 15th. And my world really fell apart. I had relapsed and started doing drugs again after we lost the kids. Heroin became a big part of the picture. And I don't say these things for any other reason than to tell you that, that you can overcome these things. You can get better. You can live a life again after seemingly losing everything. And the book Price Tags is really about that. Through all of this, I've come to this understanding that in life, you have to pay a price for everything. Whatever you do and don't do, there's going to be a price associated with it. There's a price, and I use in the book, I use like losing weight as a thing. Now, I was a lot heavier. I recently lost a lot of weight, as a matter of fact. Like if you want to be healthy and feel good, especially at my age. Now, when you're younger, maybe you can delude yourself into believing that being fat isn't going to hurt you. But as you start getting older and your joints have all that weight on it, trust me, it matters. I've had one knee replacement. I was ready to do another one. And, I started losing this weight. My hip was bad. They were talking about that as well, replacing that. My back was bad. And as I've been losing the weight, things have been getting better. But that takes work. Like none of this happens by accident, right? So if I don't do the work, I pay the price of not doing the work. And that is the joint pain, the heart conditions, all that other stuff, diabetes, all these things that go along with it. If I do the work, those things are not necessarily alleviated, or they're alleviated. They're not necessarily taken away in their entirety. But I live a better life as a result of this, and I do a lot more with my life. And if you want to know something, I'm going to tell you right now. Today is actually my 59th birthday. It's telling my engineer here about it. And you can live a life after 55. You can lose weight. You can learn to travel. You can have a great life. Like I'm really just hitting my stride now at 59 years old, and I'm really enjoying myself. What this is about, these price tags, is living a better life. And I like to make clear, I do a lot of talks especially to young people and things. And one thing I'm going to tell you right now, and this is something that I really like to focus in, and what this podcast is really going to be about really is changing your life, which is the name of the podcast, Change Your Life. And by the way, if you'd like, just go ahead and subscribe and click the notifications button below. I'd really appreciate that. Share it with your friends. Um, I'm not here to convince anyone to live a better life. In fact, I'm going to tell you something that irritates a lot of people when I say it is that nobody cares. Like, you're the only one living this life. And I'm going to tell you right now that no matter what you do, time keeps marching on. And people can talk about victimhood and they can talk about, oh, you don't understand and all that other shit. Listen, I've been through the ringer. I grew up in a house that was very difficult to be a kid. My father especially was a very abusive man. My mother drank a lot. Like I didn't grow up. I took daily beatings, mostly from my brother. Like it was a hard place to be a kid. It really was. I got out of there. I had horrible marriage, horrible divorce. Had the kids with this woman that I did love. Relapsed. The kids died. I've been through a lot of shit, and I'm not a victim. This is just my life. These are my circumstances. This isn't who I am. These are just my circumstances. And I've had to learn to deal with them in order to lead a better life. So to change my life, one of the first things I had to do was to become accountable for my life and to say, I'm here because of the decisions I made, not because I was beat as a kid, not because I did drugs, not because I did this, but all the decisions that I made along the way. I'm a 59-year-old man. And I've been accountable for myself for a long time now, and once I became aware of that, it made it a lot easier to change who I was and what I was doing to be able to change my life. Because when I tell you that time doesn't give a shit about you, I'm serious. It doesn't care about what your problems are or what your past is or what kind of victim status you have. Time just keeps going. It is the most fair thing there is. It doesn't care about race, creed, color, religion, sexual preference. It doesn't care about any of that. None of it. It just keeps going. And one day you wake up like I did, 49 years old with a horrible heroin habit going, how the hell did this happen? And I got to do something about it because I'm not getting any younger and I don't want to die this way. And now I lead a life beyond my wildest dreams. I lead a life right now of traveling and talking and discussing and writing and doing these things. I was fortunate enough to be able to retire from a good company. I had a good union job. I'm a union man. CWA 1109, little shout out to you. I was an 1105 member as well for a long time. So that's my background. I was fortunate enough to be able to hang on to that job through all of this, through some very good people, both in management and craft, who were very good people who helped me out. Uh, but I got to tell you, in many ways, it did me no favors because it enabled me to keep going. I certainly don't blame them for it. They were good, well-meaning people, but I was unable to take accountability for myself. And it wasn't until I did that I was able. And it all started with giving up the drugs. Like nothing in my life could improve until I did that. And I read a wonderful book. And I'm not here to plug things, but any self-help book that doesn't tell you that first you really need to get off of drugs is not worth it. And I've read a lot of books about on the subject of getting better and how to better yourself. One of my favorites, and I will plug that, was Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, is probably one of the best books I've ever read. And Stephen Covey, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, was another book that just really, really helped. But there are a lot of them along the way. And again, I'll discuss them in the podcast as it goes. But I just wanted to introduce you to myself, who I am, what I'm about. I really believe in what I do and in what I say. And I really believe that if you really want to, you can change your life. But it all starts with you. It all starts with what you're willing to do, what you're willing to sacrifice, and how far you want to go with your life. For me, it's a mind, body, spirit. We're here for the whole package. I know people that work, they go to the gym 6 hours a day, but they don't read, they don't meditate, they don't do the. It's just kind of trying to become a well-rounded person and in doing those things. And I'd like you to take this journey with me. Again, the book is Price Tags. It's going to be out on April 28th. We'll be doing some book signings. I'll be announcing some book signings eventually, and I'll let you know where you can get that. If you'd like to come and meet me, I'd love to meet you. And that's it. That's the first podcast.